32 FM 94.9.
Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. It's Upper 6 from our studio, 32 FM 94.9. It's your laughter station, your Fenya station. We are located on the 4th floor, Cocoa House, Dubai. Anybody on the Hamilton is strong out there. It's so windy and the wind is dry. I'm OLUTAYO, OGUNADE, and it's time for your morning tonic, the paper's review. Of course, I have a lady right here beside me. We'll be doing this together. Well, it's not Denike. This time it's GBOLAGBO, famous call. Good to have you join us on this show, GBOLAGBO.
It's great to be here, Tayo. Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, it's like how many days to Christmas? Almost like 3 days to Christmas, and it's good to be here. And like Tayo said, my name is GBOLAGBO, famous call.
You know what they say? This particular song out there now, adulthood or adulthood has come or something. I'm not even counting the days to Christmas.
I guess.
Gone are those days.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for the papers. I have the premium, the Guardian newspaper, Premium Times, and Daily Trust newspaper.
All right, I have the Nation newspaper, and of course I have the Guardian newspaper here, and the Punch newspaper of review.
All right, let's start from Premium Times. Gambia arrests 5 soldiers over alleged coup plot. Another one here from Premium Times. Nigerian government to sell 5 electricity companies to fund 2023 budget. Nigerian military eliminates 103 terrorists in Northeast. Naira redesigning. CBN Deputy Governor briefs reps, says 500 million naira new notes ordered. Problems in Buhari's 2023 budget stalls passage. The Super Eagles end 2022 as Africa's 5th best team. 2023, Tinubu visits Buhari day after president explains absence from campaigns. Some more from Premium Times. 2023, Wike to unveil his preferred presidential candidate in January. And again, quote, jails convicted Mama Boko Haram of fraud. From Daily Trust newspaper, troops kills cause of IPOP terrorist in Enugu, Ebonyi. We ordered for printing of 500 million pieces of notes. CBN, why youth must embrace entrepreneurship skills. Ibrahim, certificates, not meal ticket. El-Rufai to call members. Some more here. Another one. You can see the picture of Emefiele here. All right, Nigeria's former High Commissioner to South Africa, Shehu Malami, buried in Sokoto. NITT to partner National Gas Expansion Committee on gas-powered vehicles. Operation Deliver FCT for Tinubu launched. Targets 70% vote. Supreme Court ruling, Murik kicks as Lagos principal removes student hijab. For a federal government declares public holidays for Christmas, New Year celebration. And why Northeast could get or should get presidential slots in 2023.
Now to the Punch newspaper, and let's see what some of the headlines are saying here. Right on top of it, it says NNPC marketers plan 148 per litre. That is 148 naira per litre. Tinubu insists on subsidy remover. And of course, that story, that's the money. You can get it on page 28 of the paper. Federal government may reintroduce telecom tax in 2023. That's according to a report in the Punch newspaper this morning. And of course, that story is coming on page 11 of the paper. And this also says 2023 budget. National Assembly uncovers errors, delays passage. Another one here. And of course, that story is coming on page 34 in case you may want to read up that story. All right, more here says Yoruba Nation agitators welcome Akintoye's exit back at Deniro. Interesting times, and of course, that story is coming on page 25 of the paper this morning. The big story here says cash limits not anti-people. CBN insists reps knock MFLA. And that's on page 2. And let's look at the rider policy will open rural underserved communities to economic opportunities. CBN Deputy Governor is saying that Apex Bank orders 500 million pieces of new notes, says nation ready for cashless economy. MFLA flouting CBN Act policy ill-timed and irresponsible. Lawmakers, ex-ADC chairman is saying that. And of course, right at the center of the paper, you could see more of the pictures there if you pick up the paper, talking about sensitization and of course a number of suspects here. And let's look at what it has. Killers of US-based hotelier Lagos Ibadan highway kidnappers arrested. And of course, that is right at the center of the paper this morning. Now, at the bottom strip, it says federal government inaugurates 145 billion naira safe schools plan, 6 financial support. You can get that story on page 10. Driver dies, passengers escape as container crushes vehicles. And that story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And this also says manufacturers pay 403 billion naira tax. Lament economic crunch. And of course, that's too much coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. All right, I also have the Nation newspaper here. And above the main plate, it says 94% of cash transactions falls within 500,000 naira. Right, and of course, that story is on page 25 this morning. And it says 500,000 naira limit. Criminals won't stop 2023 poll, says Minister. And the writer says INEC predicts 50% turnout. And that story is on page 6 this morning. And interesting, this says hope is back. That is right above the main plate of the paper, talking about the Nation newspaper this morning. And more of the headline says budget passes shifted to next week. And that story is on page 25. Al-Mustafa loses AA presidential ticket. All right, the big story says Tinubu, multiple exchange rates, petrol subsidy to go. And the writer says APC candidate promises to fix power, introduce students loan. And interesting, there is a quote here. I am no CBN, but I know that, and I know that could go away if I am the president. When you vote for me, write it down and confront me when it is time. All right, at the bottom strip of the paper, it also says federal government attacks Atiku over border reopening promise. And of course, it says Wike allies to unveil preferred presidential candidate next month. And the writer says Rivers governor rules out support for Syria defector. And at the bottom strip, it says suspects in Lagos Ibadan road abductions arrested. That's on page 7. 10 die after power surge. And of course, that story is on page 7. That's the much with the Nation newspaper this morning.
Right from the Guardian newspaper, lawmakers constituency projects delay 2023 budget. 2023, Emefiele affirms CBN's neutrality, states benefit of policies. U.S.-Africa leaders summit beyond the symbolism, a catch-up race with China. Nathan Abiyo concerned over NASI's short notice timing for public hearing. Morocco is Africa's top FIFA-ranked team as Eagles drop 3 places. Some more from The Guardian. Obeys Supreme Court order on Soko Oil Field. Bayelsa tells RMAFC Christmas residents worry over safety of Lagos Gardens parks. Federal government accuses Atiku PDP of plans to worsen insecurity, unemployment. Wike to announce preferred presidential candidate in January 2023. I'll remove petrol subsidy. Tinubu vows at luncheon. Military airstrikes kill 150 terrorists in Sambisa Forest. We'll take our first commercial break. We'll be back.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
It's Visco!
What?
How did I do?
You did great.
My little boy has talent, so I support him by taking him to auditions.
Your son did great.
helping with his script.
Bow down to my flaming sword.
Great job.
For nourishment, I give him Twisco.
Mom, I got the role.
Now, it's my turn to be proud of him.
Give your kids Twisco to support their big dreams.
Twisco, power your dream.
It's a beautiful morning, Naija. Don't forget to deposit your old Naira notes into your Momo wallet at the nearest Momo agent outlet before January 31st, 2023. First dial *671# to open the Momo wallet, then call our toll-free number 671 to locate the Momo agent near you.
Hey, neighbor, I said let me come and check to see if all of you are fine.
Mama Didi, we're doing great. Thank you.
Your husband?
Oh, he's fine.
And you?
Mama Didi, plus my grandfather in the village were fine. What is it?
My dear, the aroma of this jollof rice has been knocking on my door since. I just had
come and eat job.
Introducing the new Onga Jollof Seasoning Powder. It's the new jollof taste maker, made to give your jollof rice that rich jollof taste and aroma that's really hard to resist.
Onga, Mama's helping hand.
Better don land o! Close Up toothpaste don carry the senior brother of Awoof enter town. When you buy 140 grams Close Up, you go get free 25 grams Close Up complete fresh protection with no extra cost. That is to say, for every 140 grams Close Up red toothpaste wey you buy, free 25 grams Close Up complete fresh protection dey there for you. Make una rush am as e dey hot before e finish. Close Up, stay fresh and protected.
When something correct, go show, we go see and well. Color correct. Now we time to choose. Waiting correct for Naija. Color correct. Light when no get head, the correct. Nah, he no correct. All the promise and fail, the correct. Nah, he no correct. Stable power supply. Correct. PRP and color. For the correct. Correct for the people. With BRP, party with the golden key. Color correct. Correct for the people.
Vote the correct team of Kola Abiola and Haro Zago for president and vice president.
PRP, victory!
On my way, I got one question for you. Sure you know say better sleep they improve how you dey live. Oh. If you rest for better form like Muka foam, you go enjoy your life. Oh. You go battle yourself. Oh. For play or for work, Muka foam. Now we can they walk. Oh. Quality guaranteed, Muka foam. Satisfaction assured. Oh. Medical endorsement, we get them. We don't pay our dues. Affordable product we confirm na Muka foam yo. Muka foam na correct. Muka foam na baba o. Muka foam na forest. Muka no get yawa. If you dey talk of comfort, if you dey talk of rest yo. If you want value for your money na Muka foam yo.
Muka, adding comfort to life since 1959.
I go follow the man ways, I be the road. I go follow the man ways, I be the walk. I go follow the man way go unite the people. Unify. I go follow the man way go rescue the nation. I go vote Atiku, Mr. Unifier. I don't articulate. I don't articulate. I don't articulate.
PDP!
Power to the people!
The PDP Presidential Campaign Council sponsored this message.
Christ Mercy International Church presents 21 days powerful revival. Níbi tí Ọlọ́run ti ṣetán láti lo àwọn òjíṣẹ́ rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àkórí ìtọ́dún yìí. Igi gbígbẹ́ léyè. Ògì gbígbẹ́nu ayé wa ni ó yè láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Tí yóò sì mọ wáyé ní gbogbo aago 5 di aago 8 àṣálẹ́ ọjọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti 1st of December to 21st of December nínú ọdún tá a wà yìí. Prophet Mayowa Moses Fèyíjì àti ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run bíi Prophet Olúfẹ́mi Òní, Prophet Paul A. Adémodé everybody. Apostle Oluwasegun Oluwasogbon, Prophet Adesoji Onabanjo, Apostle Elijah Olushola, Prophet Augustine Ogena, Prophet Paul Arule Jesu, Prophet Shegun George, Prophet Samuel Oludare, tó fi mọ́ Prophet Isaac Yayiola, pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ olórin ẹ̀mí bíi Akíntúndé Elijah Ọlọ́run ò sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹnìtàn Olúṣẹ́gun Bámidélé EOB, Bose Super, àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Gbogbo nínú gbọ̀ngàn jọ wa tó wà ní number 35 Adamoleko Street beside Butter Life Bread. Ìmọ̀lẹ́ Fálàfíà Òkè Àdó Ìbàdàn. It's 08077309381. Jésù dúdì yóò. Shalom.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back from the commercial break. 32 FM 94.9. Professor Lord Jedukun joins us on the show, and we will be looking at the stories together. I am OLUTAYO, OGUNADE once again.
And I'm GBOLAGBO, famous school. All right, Prof, I don't know if you can hear me. Let's look at this from Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and of course, still talking about a cashless policy. And here it says CBN sheds light on cashless policy. And part of what the CBN is saying is that Nigeria's recorded 7,000% increase in electronic transfers since 2012. What do you think the CBN wants to achieve with the cashless policy itself?
First and foremost, top of the day to you, and it's a pleasure to be here. I think what CBN is trying to do, essentially, first and foremost, is they really want to help the federal government in terms of the security. The reason why there's been an increase in ransom and kidnapping, apart from the fact that our security strategy is not working, is the easy access to cash. It encourages criminality. It encourages lack of transparency. And also, when it comes to accountability, like tax collection, it encourages the black market economy. And therefore, we can't monitor effectively what's going on in the economy. I think the central bank wants to be on top of that. But I also think that central bank thinks it's easier. It makes more sense for us to have a policy which is cashless. In other words, transfer. The whole world is going cashless. In fact, if you go to the UK, US, Germany, a lot of transactions, majorly, are done cashless. It's convenient, it's easy, and it's fraud. Even when fraud is perpetrated, it's easy to track down and it's easy to abort. So I think what CBN is trying to do is move us to the modern age. But there are some people who would suggest that what the CBN is trying to do mischievously is maybe abort plans of some of the politicians. You know that money sharing, monetarization has been a feature of Nigerian politics for quite a while. So some people will say, oh, well, CBN is just trying to truncate their ambitions because maybe Emefiele himself has not been a successful politician. But that's the other side. We must look at both sides. But I think CBN really is trying to put Nigerian economy and society on a more modern footing. That's what they would say anyway.
Do you see any sort of debacle, especially for the CBN here, looking at the fact that the politicians are complaining, Nigerians are complaining, and that actually sports the CBN, as a matter of fact, to increase the withdrawal limit? Do you see any sort of debacle at the end of the day with the cashless policy, given the fact that electronically we've not really moved up when it comes to digital transaction of transfers and the rest?
Yes, we've not really moved up because it's always been easy to get cash anyway. In fact, it's more preferable. We've not moved up because our network is decrepit. We've not moved up because a lot of times when you try to transfer, your money gets hooked up somewhere and you spend days trying to get it back. But CBN has had to react because the politicians, your representatives of you and I, have really criticized not so much the policy, but many of them have criticized the limits. And I think that's where CBN has a hedge. At least CBN knows that it is not the policy that's been criticized, but the limit, so they can tweak it accordingly. But already, Emefiele was charged before, or rather, there was a suit against Emefiele to order his arrest before the Federal High Court, which was quashed, which was thrown out in the judgment of the learned of the judge of my lord. That's already a fight back by the politicians. because the politicians feel that Emefiele doesn't have much credibility out there, and therefore it can be picked up by the DSS and it can be silenced because it's not playing their fiddle or playing to the tune. So of course, yes, the politicians will fight back, but of course they need the courts, and the courts are not playing ball. The courts seem to be following the law and playing it by the book.
All right. While responding yesterday, the CBN governor failed or refused to, state the amount of money used in or spent in redesigning the Naira notes.
Well, that's rather unfortunate because I think it's accountable to Nigerian people. You see, in the UK, we have a redesign coming up because we have a new king, and that is going to come on board in 2024. In other words, the cost is spread over about 2 years, or well, 1.5 years. In Nigeria, the cost is spread over 2 months. And so what you get is a high cost, unsustainable cost, because you're spending it all at once. The reasonable thing people would have suggested would have been to spread it like many other countries do. But the CBN will argue, that there was some urgency. I'm not sure I see the urgency in spending so much money that we don't have.
All right, away from that story, let's look at this one here. Federal government accuses Atiku PDP of plans to worsen insecurity, unemployment. The federal government has accused the presidential candidate of the PDP of plans to return the country to its old days of aggravated insecurity and youth unemployment. What's your take on this particular accusation?
We already have aggravated youth unemployment. We already have insecurity. If we follow the news yesterday, we'll see that some of the terrorists were bombed, and inadvertently, 64 innocent people were killed. So we already have aggravated insecurity. We have it in the southeast. We have it in parts of the country. So when the politicians go on the soapbox and say it's going to be a return to that, it doesn't make sense. So I would just say that is politics. I think what the APC, if APC wants to campaign effectively, is to say that, PDP is not the best party to solve the problem. We have a problem. It's not returning that is the issue. The issue is solving the problem. And the APC so far is acting on the wrong thing. And both of them have to come with credible policies, or 3 of them or 4 of them have to come with credible policies, how to solve the present insecurity and youth unemployment. Presently, we have the problem. So it's not as if somebody's going to create a problem. The problem exists, is there, and it's festering.
So you think it's more or less like lip service coming from those that have been coming up with policies in terms of tackling the spate of insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, they've come up with manifestos. And if you look at the manifestos, everybody says they're going to tackle it. But if you look at the roadmap, if you look at the solutions, if you look at the plan, if you look at the expenditure to deal with it, very few of them have been able to point us in that direction. What is the real trajectory of the plan? It's not enough to make those statements or to pay lip service. You must be able to lay down what the solutions are, the roadmap, so that I can come as a journalist or as a media person, we can come and critique it and say, well, this wouldn't work because you don't have the expenditure, or where are you going to get the money from? So I think it's easy for politicians to talk. And unfortunately, we have a beauty pageant rather than real manifesto analysis going on right now.
All right.
There's been a bit of concern that the president has not featured in any campaign since the national launch in Jos Plateau State in mid-November. But there's an assurance coming from Show that he's going to start that with vigor and some energy, and conviction. What do you say?
First and foremost, when the president was campaigning for himself, somebody said, and it should be disputed, it may be disputed, that he spent a total of 1 hour. You understand? When you look at all the 3 minutes that were calculated in all the states of the Federation when he was campaigning for himself. So people are suggesting that if he could spend just about 1 hour thereabout campaigning for himself in the 2019 election, then do they expect him to do more for another person? The reality of it is that the president is 80 years old. He's still physically fit, you understand? But if you listen to his voice, sometimes his voice gives way. So there's a health consideration, and there's the fact that Mr. President appears to want to be neutral, and just concentrate on the last, 4 months or thereabout of his administration. So, well, I don't doubt that it will come to the scene. But it's going to be able to make any real impact.
Prof, he can't be neutral now. He needs to really, put his weight behind his candidate, and that is Ashwaju, just like he did for him when he was campaigning.
Well, but that's your view. The president is the father of the nation. The president is not just the father of the APC. So he may decide to take the view that, well, his legacy can be burnished not just by Ashwaju, but by any of the candidates. He may take that view, but I don't know whether that's the view that he's taking. But it's true that people say that he owes Ashwaju. But as you and I know, if he really owed Ashwaju, then some people would have said, what happened to the first 4 years of his administration? If indeed he owed Ashwaju, what role did Ashwaju play there in his administration? But yes, I think he will come out. But whether he's going to be an effective campaigner is another matter. But you also have to consider that as this administration being a success in many respects, and is it going to turn away voters? I think that might be a consideration that even the Ashwaju camp might be taking to the bank.
All right, let's look at inflation, Prof. And of course, I'm going to Business Day, and this says cost of Christmas meal in Nigeria rises 28%, and prices of rice, chicken, cooking gas others soar. Now, how does an average Nigerian deal with this reality? Because it's been daunting, it's been there, and now it's staring at our faces. Christmas is here. How much more can we manage this? And hasn't the CBN seen the red light before now?
Well, I'm sorry to be a bit cynical here. The reality is that we've had worse situations than this before, and Nigerians have managed. 1984, 1985, 1986, during the SAP period. Nigerians have managed, but we have had a generation that have been used to a robust middle class and have been used to a bit of plenty. I think what people are going to do is they're going to adapt. It means that those that throw big parties will reduce their parties. It means that those that travel will not travel. It means that those that kill goats and rams might go for chicken, or those that kill chicken may just decide, well, we're going to just use dairy products. But it gets to a point when people can no longer cope. And I think the inflation, is out of control. We have 21%. You cannot have an economy that thrives with an inflation of 21%. Nobody has that kind of economy because people can save. You save your money in the naira, and the next day, it has no value. So, of course, for Christmas, it's going to be bleak for many. Those that were used to sumptuous meals are going to have to go on lean. Some may even decide to resort to fasting, you understand? In other words, to make up for money that they don't have. But it's going to be very bleak. And I think the federal government needs to find a way forward.
What's the implication of that, if that is the case? So what happens? What's the implication of that to the society?
You're going to get an angrier society. You're going to get more road rage. You're going to get frustration. You're going to get more suicides. And of course, you're going to get people reacting maybe at the ballot box, you understand, and deciding, well, we're not going to go with a particular set of politicians. People are going to demand accountability. I pray that it doesn't boil over beyond that, because of course, NSAS is the sort of reaction people get when they're frustrated, and we pray we don't have that anymore.
All right, maybe we won't be too bothered if it's equal measure for everyone. But to see some people living in, not certain opulence, and some people in agri poverty is what is most disturbing. And those who are really, living in this, not certain, wealth, are those that are there that should use this wealth to better the lot of the polity. And so it's disturbing, and something should be done about it.
Oh, yes, it's disturbing, and something should be done about it. And the only reason why those who are very rich, super rich, will do something about it, if they're under pressure from they don't have, from those on the margin of society, and from those who have been discarded. When they come under pressure, they'll be forced to do something about it, But if people comfortably just stare at them and allow them to go about their business without any critique or accountability, then the status quo remains. I dare say that most people that don't have are beginning to borrow heavily so that they can even japa, from that point of view. Whether that's the solution is another matter. But as you said, something has to be done about it, not just in unemployment, but in price stability. And of course, maybe we return back to the old days of Esenko, essential commodities, which is what I met in 84, 85, 86. That would be unfortunate, but it will be better.
All right, the renewed face-off between the executive arm of government and the National Assembly has constituted a cog in the wheel of the 2023 budget. Lawmakers' constituency projects delay 2023 budget passage. We are now looking at a new date, December the 28th, for passage of appropriation bill.
Well, I've always said it, and many others have always said it, that this constituency allowance thing is a big scam. Even if it weren't a scam, the fact is that Nigeria cannot afford it. The constituency allowance, you understand, takes the role of the executive and places it in the hands of the members of the House or the Senate to execute projects which ordinarily should be executed by the executive. I understand that the reason why they like this or love this constituency project is to be more relevant. But some people will suggest is so that they can get sticky fingers. The fact is that we are borrowing. They've just applied for an extension of our budget, our loans to cover the budget deficit. Mr. President applied for some billions the other day. And the reason why we are applying for billions and we are applying for more loans is because we have expenditure that is unsustained and that cannot be justified. And so I dare say that the executive will give in to the blackmail. But it is blackmail, in the sense that the country is being forced to spend what it cannot afford. And we simply cannot continue like this. So we need somebody with the political will and with the gravitas to stand firm and to tell the National Assembly there is simply no money, we cannot afford it, and these constituency projects are surplus to requirements.
Would you just call it a blackmail, or the National Assembly, as a matter of fact, is trying to write its name in history? Because over time, it's been said that the National Assembly is more or less the appendages of the executive. And now, don't you see this as a way of the National Assembly trying to say, as a matter of fact, that they have some integrity in check here?
Well, they may think that. But if they are unable to show how this money can be acquired, how this money can be sourced without borrowing at humongous rates and without putting the country into the appendage or what some people call in international relations peonage, which means that you sentence us to debt. We're not even paying the debt, we are paying the interest of it. Then, of course, I would say that it's more akin to blackmail. If they're able to come up with a plan, then, of course, you can say that they're standing up for their rights and they're trying to discard that appendage that they are surely lackeys of the executive. I think the problem is that they have not come up with a solution as to where this money is going to be received or sourced from. Under those circumstances, some people will suggest that it would be right to say that they're only just blackmailing the executive to do their bidding.
Yeah,
because they won't pass the budget. If the executive doesn't do it, they won't pass the budget.
All right, we need to go on another break now, but we hope this won't affect the January to December budget cycle, which they...
We pray so.
We're going on another break. We'll be back.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Kids Twisco to support their big dreams.
Twisco, power your dream.
God bless Nigeria. December 24 ní ìforúkọsílẹ̀ MTT Go Abroad máa wá sópin. Gbé ṣiṣẹ́ kàwé lórílẹ̀‐èdè Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Cyprus, South Africa àti India. Wá jẹ́ ọmọ onílẹ̀ ní Canada. Wá ṣiṣẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́, oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́, elétò ìlera àti olùtọ́jú. Kí wà àtàwọn ẹbí rẹ̀ ó sì máa gbádùn yìn. Ní UK gbé ìgbésẹ̀ láti rin ìrìn àjò sílé òkèèrè pẹ̀lú 2023 Migration Travels and Tour. MTTGoAbroad.com. Forúkọsílẹ̀ fún gbígba físà pẹ̀lú MTTGoAbroad.com àti MTT Go Abroad app pẹ̀lú 50% discount ní Online Dynamics 4th floor Cocoa House Dùgbẹ̀ Ìbàdàn àti Stylon Hillside Jericho Ìbàdàn. Kẹ̀sì gbẹ̀bùn kérésìmesì lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. Migration Travel and Tour ọlọ́run ló fi rán wa. 08102738145 MTT Go Abroad powered by Online Dynamics Limited. December 24 ní ìforúkọsílẹ̀ yìí máa wá sópin. A ó ṣọdún ayọ̀.
Iṣẹ́ kò sówó, ebi ń pa mí, àìsí ìdáàbòbò, ìjìyà ojúmọ́, náírà kí ló dé? Àsìkò ìràpadà Nàìjíríà dé. Bóyá PDP, òkùnkùn ní mọ́lẹ̀, ìjẹ Gàrímù, PDP, iṣẹ́ rẹpẹtẹ, PDP, PDP,
ìkéde yìí wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ PDP Presidential Campaign Council.
ẹ ǹlẹ́ o alábàágbé mi mo ní kí n wá bẹ̀yìn wò ni. ìyá Bíọ́lá àlàáfíà la wà. ẹ ṣeun. mo kọ yín kọ wọ́n wà. ẹ̀yin náà ńkọ́. kódà ìyá mi lábúlé gan wà lálàáfíà. ìyá Bíọ́lá ṣé kò sí. mẹ́wòó ìtasọ́sọ́ jọ̀lọ́ fún yín ò jẹ́ rí mú mi o ni mo bá ní wá fọwọ́ ara mi tún ara mi ṣe.
ẹ wọlé wá jẹun jàre.
àgbéyẹ̀fun ìsẹ̀bẹ̀ ọ̀ngá jọ̀lọ́f tuntun dé o. ohun ìsẹ̀bẹ̀ tó ń fúnrẹ́sì jọ̀lọ́fù yín lójúlówó adùn àti ìtasọ́sọ́ jọ̀lọ́fù tí ò ṣeé kọ̀ sílẹ̀.
Onga, Mama's helping hand.
Better don land o! Close up toothpaste don carry the senior brother of Awoof enter town. When you buy 140 grams close up, you go get free 25 grams close up complete fresh protection with no extra cost. That is to say, for every 140 grams close up red toothpaste wey you buy, free 25 grams close up complete fresh protection dey there for you. Make una rush am as e dey hot before e finish. Close up. Stay fresh and protected.
Ǹjẹ́ ti gbọ́ Waka Now Travel Fest ti padà dé bíbà. Nínú gbogbo oṣù November ní bẹ́bẹ́ yóò máa lọ. Wá jẹ́ gbádùn àwọn ìdúnàdúrà tí kò lẹ́gbẹ́ fún àwọn arìnrìn-àjò lórí owó ọkọ̀ òfurufú, ilé ìtura, visa àti àwọn ìpèsè fún ìsinmi. Kàn sí www.wakanow.com báyìí láti kópa nínú àwọn àrígbádùn tó jọjú wọ̀nyí. Tàbí kó ṣàbẹ̀wò sí àwọn ojúde ìrìn-àjò wa ní Bond Mall, Ventura Mall àti Base One Plaza, Ring Road, Ìbàdàn. Gbangba ti dẹkùn. Waka Now, gbégbègbè, gbéra.
Crossover sí 2023, òróró òtítayọ̀. Lọ́lọ́run Sáàmù Olúwa ló máa dà lé ọ lórí.
Orílẹ̀ tí Jésù ti jí sí àmì àti ìyanu ojúkorojú yẹn. Adámímọ́gò Jesus City la máa gbàrí kọjá sí 2023. Nínú pàdé májàmú ọlọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta àgbáyípo láti Friday 13 December di Sunday 1st January 2023. Bàbá Adámímọ́gò Prophet Sáàmù Olúwa Ọlọ́run ti sọ fún bàbá láti dá òróró ojú rere lé gbogbo èèyàn lórí. Anointing for excellence. Ọlọ́run sọ pé gbogbo ẹni máa farahàn. Òun máa bá wọn dá májàmú títayọ fún ìrìn àjò 2023 o. Ọ̀pọ̀ wòlíì májàmú Jésù máa lò. Bísí aláwìyé àlùkò. Olúwa ló ní bísí. Àwọn ló máa léwájú olórin ẹ̀mí. Prophet Sáàmù Olúwa bàbá Adámímọ́gò. Wọ́n á máa dòróró títayọ lé gbogbo èèyàn lórí. Ayé wọn náà wọ́n kánsẹ́lì tó máa wà. Wákàtí nínú àdúrà máa jò. CSC Adámímọ́gò Jesus City. Ìbàjúlẹ̀ kí ẹ̀pẹ́ expressway. Ìlàmìjà village Aláró City làwọn ti pàdé. Ìwọ ló máa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀rí eléyìí gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
It's a beautiful morning, Naija. Don't forget to deposit your old Naira notes into your Momo wallet at the nearest Momo agent outlet before January 31st, 2023. First dial *671# to open the Momo wallet, then call our toll-free number 671 to locate the Momo agent near you.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back from the commercial break. 32 FM 94.9. The lines are open now. 009 7000 949 0705 5000 949 and 0906 2000 949. Prof is still on the line. GBOLAGBO.
Yes, please.
Yes, I wanted to ask this question. This is coming actually from the mattress, and it's talking about Tinubu talking tough. And now let's look at what he's been saying. He vows to put an end to multiple foreign exchange rates, estimated billions, and he says, how can we be subsidizing fuel consumption of Cameroon, Niger Republic, Benin Republic?
Hello?
And that's a question.
Bro,
okay.
Our meeting, good morning. Well, this is my own personal opinion. When we said we want electronic transmission of results, NCC said 90% of villages in Nigeria network. Now we want CBN said we should have cardless policy. Our rep, our colleagues said they don't have network in their village. Is that not irony of life? All these people usually travel outside this country. They don't handle $100, £100. They handle just $10, $20 or £20. And we Nigeria also support these people that have destroyed our livelihood because of our lifestyle. We should be very careful. We should not support these politicians because of their unselfishness. That's my personal opinion. Have a nice time. God bless you.
Thank you for your call, Prof.
All right, Prof, I was going to ask, now if Tinubu is sounding this way, is it that he's deviating from what he said earlier? Because he said he's going to adopt the policies of the APC and, of course, talking about this present administration. Now, for him to be talking tough, talking about estimated billion and the rest of it, what do we make out of this?
Well, suddenly he's beginning to grapple with the trajectory, with the roadmap, and with the plans that many of us have been asking for. I think he comes to the realization that he needs to distinguish himself. And the only way he can distinguish himself from the current candidates, and indeed from this administration, is by coming up with policies that make sense. I think they've done their research. The people that are behind Tinubu are not fools. They're very astute, and they know where they want the country to go. So I think it's finally beginning to voice that out. And if that's what he is doing, then maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope for Tinubu's campaign.
Hello.
Hello, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I think this morning has to do with the constituency allowance. See, honestly, they truly want good governance in this country. The constituency allowance is supposed to be given to the local government chairmen and councillors because they are the representatives and grassroots representatives. That's the truth of the matter. It's supposed to be given to them. If you truly want good governance in this country, it likes the own version of my name.
Thank you. 009 7000 949 0906 2949 and 0705 5000 949 to join the conversation. Prof, there's another story here that I feel may interest you. Suspected killers of Ogbomoso hotelier arrested and paraded. Before we take your reaction, let's take this call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name?
My name is Ekele Balabi from Malakia Shabolos.
Okay.
Federal government said that they are going to introduce this telecom tax by 2023. I want to advise them to just to rescind this decision because Nigeria has been overburdened with every tax. They raised issue of VAT from 5% to 7.5%. Now they want to introduce communication tax. This one will put burden on the people and then the border will profit them. I advise them to suspend this one because the one we have been paying in the past, no impact. On the issue of National Assembly that suspended the 2023 budget, I want to advise them not to pass this budget in haste because this executive, they prepare the budget in a copy and paste budget. They should scrutinize everything, nitty-gritty. That's a comment. That's a nice day.
Thank you. Even if they present this in March, it's usually copy and paste. Hello, Prof. Are you there?
Yes, I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Balkis Onodio from Ibadan. As regards the criminals of those that murdered at American-based hotel in Ogbomoso, it's a very sad thing. You know, he came home to invest and he was gruesomely murdered. When you ask a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora, some of them have the dream, they have the ambition of returning to Nigeria. But when they consider insecurity as a menace, it scares them from returning home. So it's encouraging to see the synergy between the Oyo State government and the MPF to actually ensure that these people have been arrested. They shouldn't delay their judgment. Good morning.
Thank you, Balkis. We have this comment here on Facebook. Good morning. The news surrounding the arrest of killers of kidnapped hotelier in Ogbomoso is a good one and a welcome development. This has shown that the synergy between the Oyo State government and all the security agencies are beginning to yield positive results. Tolu Lokwe, thank you. We got your message. Of course, Balkis just called. Good morning. The CBN policy is too hasty. In my view, the economy is more important than politics. It is far more important that our industry survive and increase the problem of people hoarding money. By the way, people hoard money or hide money from paying taxes in every economy. OLUTAYO or Obamiro. Thank you. Honestly, APC even don't need PMB to join the campaign train because he doesn't have enough achievement to show up for Nigerians in the last 7 years of his administration. Sharon Abiola sent that. We got that. Good morning, dear friends. Have a lovely day. Cost of living is on the increase. That is correct. All you need to do now is live within your limit. Transportation is high, so it's a chain. It will cut across all goods and services. Don't forget, January is the longest month. Professor Kidiran there. Thank you. Prof, we have to leave the studio.
Yes. Oh, well, they've said it, live within your means, find innovative ways, still celebrate, because some will say a savior is born.
Thank you, Prof. My name is OLUTAYO. Thank you, dear listener, and have a great Friday.
And my name is GBOLAGBO Female School. Join us again tomorrow for another interesting one. Bye for now.
The station admired by other radio stations.
Yes, we are.
32 FM 94.9.
You're listening to the Smart Kids Show with Auntie Yellow.